The unit, 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 the unit.
Welcome back. Episode 6 of the Unit podcast, I think. Something like that. Is it 6? I think it is. Oh, lads, it is now 1:45, and I'm only recording the podcast now. I was trying to say podcast, and I was trying to say episode, and I was going to say adg. Whatever was going to come after that, I don't know. But we're after a good start. My arms aren't folded like they always are, which is good. So we're going to try and not do that. And that's me growing as a person. Do you know what I mean? There is a reflection on my camera of something. And it's probably going to annoy me for the whole episode. So I'm delighted with that. But yeah, I put up a Snapchat story and an Instagram story to tell everybody that today's episode might be delayed a little bit. But when you're watching or listening to this, you already know that. So I don't need to tell you that. But you know, you who doesn't know that, this is why the episode is late. I was procrastinating like a motherfucker. Yeah, so when I first started recording the podcast, like back the start of January, I was like recording it on a Tuesday night for Sunday. Like the first episode that I ever recorded, right? Can't remember what day I recorded it on, but it came out on the Sunday, episode 1. And episode 2, I recorded the following day, the day after I recorded. No, I'm not on about the day after episode 1 came out. I'm saying I recorded episode 1, and then the next day I recorded episode 2, and I put episode 1 out like 4 or 5 days after I recorded it. So that means I had episode 2 recorded for about a week and a half before it was even due to come out. And I'm going to need to start pre-recording again, even by a couple of days, because as it was approaching the weekend, I was kind of there going, yeah, I'll Thursday was the day. I was like, I'm going to record the episode on Thursday, 100% record it on Thursday, put it up, have it scheduled to come out on Sunday on YouTube and Spotify, and then I have the rest of the week to not think about it or worry that the episode is going to be on time or anything like that. But of course, procrastinated the fucking back axe load of it all morning today, and then I was busy, and now I'm here recording it. So, yeah. And then you have the likes of Dave Coffey. I'd send him a stupid Snapchat like I did the other day, and he's telling me, oh, you have too much time on your hands. Do I, yeah? Because I can't see it. Can you see time on my hands? Because I can't see it at all. No, I do have a bit of time, but I don't have too much, like, because too much is a bad thing. Know what I mean? So I have a bit of time in my hands, in fairness. I have a bit of time in my hands. But, like, I do all the work in the house and fucking all that. I've fucking baking the cabbage on again. It's Sunday, and I've baking the cabbage on again. Now, I don't think I had it in about 2 weeks. But, do you know what I mean? I was fucking up. I was up early this morning again, right? It's Sunday, and I was up early again this morning, right? I was up early last morning. Yeah. So I was up early last morning, and I went into town, I got myself a bit of breakfast and everything, right? But I was up early. Then I got to go back to sleep for an hour. Then I got up again, right? Then I went into town to get myself a bit of breakfast, and I feel like I had to go to town for something else too. I did, yeah. Anyway, I had to drop the van in for a service, right? So that's grand. Went into town, and this was at, arms folded. This was at 8:55. I was walking past the place, and there was a fella there opening up. Now, the man that was opening up was about 70, I'd say. And then a man in his 50s, I'd say, walked past and spotted him. He looked and goes, Jesus, you're up bright and early, aren't you? It's 8:55. And I was thinking to myself, this is my second time being up this morning. And no one said, like, you're up bright and early, aren't you? Not when I got up first at 8:45 or whatever. No, it couldn't have been that late. 7:45? It wasn't 8:45 because I was in town again for 9. 7:45? I don't know what time it was. What are you asking me for? But I was thinking, I've been up twice this morning. Not one person has congratulated me about being up early. And this man is opening up a place at 8:55. As if I'm like, you must be up fairly early. You must be sleeping in on normal days anyway. So I went down to get the breakfast, and a fella that I know sat down beside me. And he was telling me that he's on a bit of a health journey. He's eating better, and he's walking, and he's losing weight. Now he does look a lot better. You can see that he's after losing the weight, right? But he told me that he went to a wedding. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago? He went to this wedding, right? So he knew that he wasn't going to be disciplined while he was at this wedding. So he said he'd go on a stricter diet approaching the wedding so that he wouldn't feel as bad about going off his plan for the wedding. Do you know what he had for 3 days? Sardines now, and water. In the morning, he'd have sardines and water. For his dinner, he'd have sardines and water. And then at night time, or whenever in the evening night, he'd have sardines and water. Like, he's like the fish and rice cake fella. How, like, do you see that fish and rice cake fella? If I had more time now, I'd add pictures of him into this and all, and pictures of your man that I was talking to, and pictures of my breakfast, and pictures of your man that was opening the gate at 5 to 9. I'd have all them pictures sliding in, know what I mean? I'd have my social media across the bottom. Don't have time for any of that today, right? Google the fish and rice cake fella. If you don't know who the fish and rice cake fella is, it's the fella who was sitting down next to me for water. For water? For breakfast. But he's the fish and water guy. So that fish and rice cake fella, he was a pure skinny fella, and he's inside in his kitchen leaning up against it, and there's a camera crew recording him. I can't remember what show he was on. And they were like, what are you doing for your... Was he going to the gym or training or something like that? And they were like, what do you eat? And he was like, in the morning I'll have fish and a rice cake. And then for lunch I'll have some fish. And then for dinner I'll have a rice cake and some fish. And then for lunch, or for fucking supper or whatever, I'll have fish and a rice cake. And that's all he was eating, was fish and rice cakes. And you'll see him now. He is huge, wrecked in tattoos. He's actually a TikToker. I think he's called Fish and Rice Cake Guy or something. But yeah, I don't know. I'd say he had a bit of enhancement now, to be honest with you. But just when you watch that first original video, you think like, oh, this fella, what's he at? Like, but it worked for him. And now I know a fish and water fella instead of a fish and rice cake fella. But yeah, so I think I had a bit of a crisis throughout the week where I went back into that phase of thinking, why can't I just be normal? Why do I have to be a clown? Why is my brain not normal? Why am I, do you know? So I think that's what made me procrastinate as well on recording the episode. And I need to watch that and make sure it doesn't happen. And no, well, I can't stop it from happening, but I need to learn how to push through it better and go, ignore it. You'll feel different tomorrow. Stop fucking thinking like that, because I'd be fucking sabotaging my brain, like thinking all these stupid things that don't matter and things that aren't really how I think. Do you know? I'd be just thinking like, oh, maybe this and maybe that, and maybe I should not do this and maybe I should do that more. And like, I should definitely do that more, whatever that is, because I need to start doing stuff with myself. But nobody has reached out to me and started going like, oh, you said you wanted to start hobbies and you're bad at starting hobbies. Why don't you start this hobby and why don't you start that hobby? Nah. My hand really. What'll I do? Know what I mean? I want to start doing things. But yeah, so that might be why I'm after leaving this episode so late. I don't know, to be honest, I don't know. But I am going to start pre-recording again and organising myself a little bit better again, because I can't even talk right now. I'm just mixing up my words and everything else. Yeah, so as well as procrastinating, which is something that I used to do a lot before, and I'm kind of finding myself slipping back to black. I'll head away. I'll get up and I'll walk out of here if I don't stop stumbling all over my words. Do you think I wouldn't head away? I'll go away out of it. I'll just walk away and you'll have to just sit here looking at my sign, my backdrop, and there'll be nothing on the screen. So if I don't start, and you know, if you don't start sharing all my stuff and telling all your friends and everything else and telling your family and putting it in group chats and putting it on your stories, you need to start helping me out. You love this podcast. Why aren't you putting it on your story? You love this podcast. Why aren't you putting it on your story? Why don't you want me to do well? Why don't you want me to be hitting fucking stupid numbers? Do you know what I mean? I want people to be looking, going, fucking hell, your man's only have to start now. Look at the numbers on his podcast. Know what I mean? When I put up stupid slow videos and all, you'll be like, this is brilliant, the best thing I've ever seen, putting on your stories and all. Come on, do it with this, because I'm going to have to start threatening you. I'm going to have to start squaring up to you and threatening you and stuff like that, right? Because do you think I won't head away? 1 minute now. Yeah, go on, I'm gone. Good luck. Cheers. No, I'm back in the bollocks now because I'll end up spilling my tea and my drink. There was probably a big stupid noise now on the microphone there because I was acting the bollocks. But don't think I won't start threatening you, because I'll fucking lean with it, rock with it. Your front window, I can put a block in it, right? Might be a threat, might be not. Might be not. Take it as you want, right? Take it. If you want to take that as a threat, take it as a threat. And you know, if you're nice to me and you do put me on your stories and you do share the podcast around for me, I'll be beautiful to you. Like, I'll be so cute. Do you know what I mean? I'll be promoting you. Do you know what I mean? I'll be like, lean with it, rock with it. Your top drawer, I can put my socks in it. The next one, I can put my jocks in it. Do you know? And I'll promise you, like, but you need to promise me too, because I'll snap. You think I won't snap? If my tea wasn't there and my drink wasn't there and there's a small gap for me to get out through and I could end up knocking one of them and keep acting the bollocks, I'd be getting up and pretending to walk away, and you'd have to just look at my backdrop and my sign. So it's up to you, whatever you want to do. Anyway, enough of that shit. Yeah, so people really enjoyed the stories from the bonus episode, my stories from the past and stuff like that. And I enjoyed telling them as well, because they're some of my favourite stories. So I'm going to go back down that road a small bit with this one as well. So a friend of mine who I'm friends with for, Jesus, as long, I think I became friends with him like in my communion or something like that. I was walking through the field. No, I was cycling through the field, as you do, like. And he was over in the field because he used to live across the field. And I don't know, we started talking somehow anyway. We became the best of friends. And I used to spend, any time I wasn't in school, I was just in his house. In the summer, I used to not go home. Like, I used to just stay in his house all summer. Doing it all night, all summer. Doing it that way, I wanna. But just taking a stop off my tea now, so don't be worrying, all right? I'm going to try to do more gracefully. So what I'll be doing is trying to stay away from the microphone. So I'm going to practice on my tea suppery, because I'm always making a big song and a dance out of taking a sup of a cup of tea. Give me a second now. See, is this better? Does it look more graceful, yeah? Splendid. So yeah, and I don't know if it makes too much noise when I move the microphone either. So I'm going to try to be careful with the microphone and not hit off it and stuff like that. But anyway, so yeah, and don't be thinking as well that I'm here going like, oh, I want to be having cups of tea and all. Got to be drinking something, 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 because otherwise, my mouth will dry up and I'll keep on having to moisten my mouth like an 86-year-old woman. So I need to keep drinking things. So got to be drinking something, got to be drinking something. Anyway, I'll go back to the story, right? So friend of his anyway for years and years. And as I said, he used to live across the field, across from South Hill, not actually in South Hill. So it was like he was living in the countryside, even though you could smell the burning cars. Like, you could smell the robbed cars from his house. Do you know what I mean? If my mother was out the front roaring, you could hear her like, get in, shouting at the dogs or whatever, get in. You could hear her. Do you know what I mean? So I used to be down there all the time. I remember one day I was walking down to his house and there was a robbed car in the field, or it could have been, no, it was, yeah, I'd say it was a robbed car. But anyway, so I was walking down through the field and there was big kind of tracks that you could walk along. There was a main one down along the middle, kind of the middle, more so to the left a little bit. And then there was another one off to the right, which was kind of lesser travelled. But I was walking down the normal one. So when I was walking down the normal one, the car is just getting rallied around the field, like, and it's just normal. Like, do you know what I mean? You're just walking down along and well, at that time, I thought it was normal. It obviously wasn't. I was only young at the time, like 12 or something. I don't know what age I was. I was young anyway. And I was walking down through the field and this car was flying around and you're just thinking, you're just walking down through this track and you're thinking, hope the car doesn't come over here now, because I'll have to jump out of the way. And that's just how we used to have to live our lives, like, do you know what I mean? Just thinking, oh, hope it stays over there now, hope it doesn't come flying over this way. And then they'd probably be acting the bollocks, do you know, to frighten you or something. But the car ended up getting stuck in the higher grass. So there's about 12 of them there. And I was strolling down along and someone said like, someone called me. So the car got stuck and they were pushing the car. And they called me, oh, Walsh, give us a hand, push this with us, whatever. So I'm going, oh, God, I don't want to be involved in things like that. Do you know what I mean? I was just, as a teenager, like, I was like, nah, stay away from that. I'd watch and everything else because that's what everyone else was doing. And we didn't even realise how wrong it was at that time. But I'd watch them and everything, grand, but I'd never go near them. As I said, I don't know how. I just managed to stay out of trouble my whole life and don't understand how, because all of that shit was just going on all around me all the time. Anyway, give us a hand, give us a push. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, all right. So I ran over anyway to help him push the car. Just as I was pushing the car, what happened? Guards. I was like, oh, bollocks. So all the boys anyway took off. Well used to it, taking chases the whole time. I wasn't used to it at all. If I ever had to run when someone did something and I was with them, I'd have to run and it'd be a panic run. I'd be thinking, oh shit, what am I going to do? Fuck. Because I'd have just been with them and they're after doing whatever they're after doing, and then everyone has to run, or me and that person have to run, because I could be just with one friend and they'll do something stupid. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, why did you do that? And I have to run. So I like run, and I remember one time like I ran into Donkey Ford's and bought myself a can of Coke. I was standing in there shitting myself, like, in case fucking the man or the guards, whoever, no, it was a man that was following us that time. And then I'd walk out and walk back in the opposite direction with my can of Coke, thinking, oh, nobody notices that I was with him when he did that. Do you know? So that's the type. So they all took off running anyway across the field, and the railings for the golf course were there at this time. Because obviously I remember when the railings weren't there for the golf course as well. So they all ran over and fucking boom, up over the railings. No problem whatsoever. And there was actually one of the boys who was there and that was running away, who I was actually good friends with as well. And as I say, he was into that mad shit, and I had to run away from stuff that he did a few times as well. And he just cleared the railings. And sure, once they're over the railings, they know they're home free. The guards aren't going to go climbing big spiky railings that quickly, you know, like they can, and taking as much risk as they take, because you could get fucking impaled and things. So I ran anyway. I was like, yeah, running with the boys. We're going jumping into the golf course. We're running away from the guards. Jumped up onto the railings, put my two front of my tackies, we'll say, onto the fence, the metal fence, not in big green railings. And I put my two tackies onto it to try to climb up it, but it just went and just slid back down to the bottom, and then boom, two guards onto my back. I was like, oh, that's great. So no, I didn't get arrested. As I said, it was only about 12. I feel like I was only about 12, maybe a little bit older. And they took me down the field and put me into the back of the squad car. Now, as I said, I didn't get arrested, just put me into the squad car. They obviously thought I was involved in what was going on. And it kind of was, because I was fucking over trying to push the stupid car with them, because they all just kind of collared me into it. And as that happened, my brother was there as well. He was after being standing up at the top of the field, just watching what was going on or whatever. And so he comes running down through the field. That's my brother, right? Now, the whole of fucking South Hill and Keys Park were out watching this, like, and he's there, that's my brother, running down along. What did the guards do? Oh, is it, yeah? Caught him and put him in the back of the squad car, because, I don't know, was he roaring at him or something like that? Because, anyway, right? So that was fine. So two of us now are sitting in the squad car. They didn't handcuff us or anything, I don't think. No, because we didn't actually properly get arrested. So that was grand. Next thing, who comes rocking on over the hill? Only my mother. With a fucking Jack Russell under her arm. Or no, he wasn't a Jack Russell, but was he? He was a kind of a Jack Russell, kind of a Chihuahua, kind of mix, kind of a thing under her arm. And she's running around down along the field. They're my sons. And we're sitting in the back of the squad car like two dopes. And yeah, I'm surprised my mother didn't get took into the squad car as well. And then, like, my uncle and everyone else, the whole family crammed into the back of this squad car. But, yeah, my mother then just came down and got us away out of it. And I think the guards were like, oh, tell them not to be fucking around when all this shit is going on or whatever. I don't think because there was so many people there, like it wasn't possible that everyone could have been driving this car. So I think they were only going after the people who were actually doing that, whatever. So they just let us go. But yeah, so 1 second. No, look at me now, taking a big stupid something. Couple. So leading on to where I was actually going with the story. So as I said, I used to be down in my friend's house like for the whole entire summer. Um, and at one time his mother turned around. Now it might not have even been summer, but I'm just saying this is how much I used to be down there. So his mother turned around to us. Will you? There's a saw there. Will you cut down the apple tree? So now they had apple trees now, like so that was mad compared to South Hill, which you could see. So they said this apple tree, I don't know, was it only growing crab apples or did she not want it anymore or whatever the fuck it was? So she said, will you grow it? Will you cut down this tree for me? Two teenagers was like, yeah, of course we will. Yeah, we'll get that done, no bother. Gave us the saw anyway. Sure, we used to be out doing shit like that even when we weren't asked. And his mother would come out and be like, what are you after doing? We're like, we did this thing, whatever. Remember we were there one day. No, I won't. I won't trail off. I'm going to stick to the story about the apple tree, right? So says, will you cut down the apple tree for us? And I says, I will, yeah. Or we said, we will, yeah. Went out with this saw anyway, and we were out there for the day cutting down this apple tree. And she says, I'm going to treat you now to a nice dinner because you did that favour for me. It's like, grand, yeah, whatever. So, me being like, not kind of understanding, like we had fuck all growing up. Do you know what I mean? We didn't. We had fuck all growing up. So I didn't understand the value of things or like, not that I didn't understand the value of things, but like I didn't, if you got something nice, do you know, it'd be just kind of, I don't know what it was. It's like I kind of didn't appreciate it because I didn't know like how expensive things were or whatever it was. At the same time, I was only a teenager as well, do you know, but I didn't know like if my mother wouldn't be saying like, oh, here's this big expensive dinner, you better appreciate it or whatever, do you know. So I didn't understand all that kind of thing. And she calls us in anyway for dinner. Dinner's ready. She was after getting steak for us, right? Made this beautiful dinner now. She made unreal dinner. She was some cook. She used to make this, what's it called? Pasta carbonara. The first time I ever met. I give up. Why can't I fucking talk? Do you know what I mean? The first time I ever had pasta carbonara was in their house, and it was, oh my God, I would have eaten it all day long, and I've never tasted nicer since then. Anywhere, no matter where I ever got it, never tasted nicer. Anyway, she made us this steak. Sitting around about cutting the steak, sure, I didn't have a clue about fucking steak. Probably my first time having steak as well. Sitting there cutting the steak. I cuts off a piece of it anyway, puts a bit of it into my mouth, looks and goes, I tell you, it was easier to cut down that apple tree than it was to cut this steak. And went back and cutting it again, and everybody laughed or whatever, and their family or whatever. And like, it was only, my friend actually reminded me of this. He was like, man, what about the time you said it about the steak? I was like, lads, I forgot all about that. But like, I didn't even have a fucking clue about that she was after, like, it was probably, no, it wasn't their first time having steak, but like, you know, they were big, proper, expensive steaks, like, and I'm there then going like, oh yeah, easier to cut down a tree than it was to cut these steaks. Fucking cheeky bastard, and I'm fucking up home having beans, know what I mean? But I can have beans and toast, no, one or the other. So yeah, as I said, like, things weren't easy, but yeah, I just thought that was an interesting story. Not interesting, but kind of funny, kind of. Yeah, 1 minute. I'm just thinking, like, I keep watching myself on camera drinking cups of tea. I'm roasting now. I just said I'd let you know. Absolutely sweltering. But I've been watching myself taking sups of cups of tea. And I keep looking, going like, why do I look so gammy when I'm taking a sup? Or when I'm finishing a cup of tea. And then I'm like, I'm drinking tea all my life. So everyone I know has seen those facial expressions that I make. And they haven't said anything. So it's obviously normal. And that's something as well that I was thinking, like, when you look at yourself, when you look at a picture of yourself, when you're not filtering it, or if someone else takes a picture or something, you'd be kind of looking, going like, oh, is that what I really look like? Damn. Do you know? And you be judging yourself and very critical of yourself, whatever. And that stopped me from doing this podcast for a while because I just didn't like how I looked on camera and or in the mirror. All right, do you know? I don't know. Just feel a bit awkward just putting myself out there and getting in front of the camera for this long and not watching like exactly what way you move your head or your face or anything like that or what words you say. And then I kind of realized it was like, hold on, there's people looking at me every single day, making all the facial expressions, saying all the words from every angle. Not every angle, but like, do you know, so why not just fucking do this? And it's just going to be like, it's just going to be an extension of what people see every day, but it's just on the internet forever and ever, do you know? So, yeah, I can't remember why I went into that part, but very traily offy. There was another thing that I was going to say in the middle of that story, and then I was like, no, I'm not going to trail off, but no, I can't remember it. So I'm fucking delighted, like, you know, it's handy out. Another story. So we were there, remember I told you about, in the bonus episode, I told you about one of the boys that busted all the bolts off the top of his rocker cover. So for people that don't know what a rocker cover is, it's when you look at the top of your engine, it's the metal bit on the top where your oil cap is. That comes off, and that's your rocker cover, and that's what he was trying to bust the fucking bolts off to put his spark plugs in. Anyway, so he was sorry. No, Jesus Christ. Yeah, he was there, but it was a different one of the boys' cars that we were talking about, the fellow who slipped in the hall. So we were fixing his car. We were doing the drop links in it or something. Maybe one or two bushings that bolt on or off. I can't remember what it was. We were doing something anyway, and it had to be the front of the car and the back of the car. We might have been even. No, we weren't changing his wheels because the boys wanted the car. Anyway, that doesn't matter. So, outside his house, the road is slightly at an angle. It's on a bit of a hill. So, the car drove in forward into his parking space, and he jacked up the lower side of the car, we'll say the bit that was at the lower part of the hill. He jacked that up. So I was like, man, you realise you're on a hill now here, you want to be careful with that. He was like, it'll be grand. I was like, yeah, but it's all right saying it'll be grand, but we have to go under this car, like. So it can't be just like, we need to make sure that it's grand. Do you know what I mean? He was like, no, it'll be okay, whatever. So I think we did some of it one day, because I actually have a picture of myself somewhere that I would put into the episode, but I can't because I don't have time, of me after I was pushing, pulling or pushing a ratchet or a spanner or something, and my hand slipped and it fucking tore my thumb, and my thumb was bleeding. And I remember taking a selfie underneath the car saying cars are class. So yeah, I was definitely under the car at one stage, but definitely not when both sides of the car were jacked up. Because after he jacked up the bottom side, he jacked up the other side too. So that means the whole entire car was jacked up. One of the things that was under it was a trolley jack. And for anyone who doesn't know, trolley jacks have wheels on them. So you have something jacked up on a hill with something with wheels on it. Do you know? Never going to end good. So when they did that, I was like, right, that's me never going underneath the car again, because now it's lifted up off the ground, and what's holding it off the ground has wheels on it, right? And then those other fucking stupid, I think there was 2 scissor jacks and a trolley jack, I think, is what was holding the car up off the ground. And I don't even know if they had the alloys thrown underneath the car as like a bit of a protection thing, do you know what I mean? I don't know why people think, including me, think like, I'll throw the wheel down there now, so if the car falls, at least it'll only fall on the wheel. You're bigger than the wheel, like, do you know what I mean? So it's going to fall on you and not the wheel. So 3 of the boys were underneath the car at one point. I was standing at the front of the car, I remember. And so I'm going to go back to the start in a few minutes before we had any wheels off the car. But anyway, so I was standing at the front of the car, and the 3 boys were underneath the car. Now, when I say underneath it, they're like half one fella's body was under the car. I was going to say half his body was fully under the car, but if half his body was under the car, half his body was under the car, you know what I mean? So I was standing at the front anyway, And two of the other boys then, like, kind of their head and shoulders, not their shampoo, no, their head of their body and their shoulders of their body was under the car. And I was standing at the front, and next thing, I could see the car starting to kind of move slightly. And I don't know if I even had a chance to say something, or if they felt it moving while they were under the car or what. But as far as I remember, nobody said anything. Me or the three boys that were underneath the car. Don't ask me why there was three of them under there anyway. One of them must have been just watching, because you'd never have room to do something with three of you under the car. Do you know what I mean? So the car started to fall. And as I said, as far as I know, I said nothing. And any of the three boys, I don't think they said anything either. And they just somehow just removed themselves from under the car, including the fella with his full half body underneath the car. And like, we're just standing back and thinking, lads, the boys nearly got crushed, like. But yeah, so it was like something, I don't know, it just looked so surreal to see, because I was like, the three of you were under that car. Nobody communicated with anybody. The car started to fall, and as it did, the three of you just went and shot out from underneath the car. How did that happen? Right? So that was mad anyway. And I was like, see, told you, shouldn't have done that. That's dodgy. You want to be putting trolley jacks and things under it. And I'm thinking, oh, lads, thank God I wasn't under there. Anyway, so before we had any wheels off the car, one of the boys was the fellow who broke his bolts off his rocker cover from the bonus episode. He was loosening. Was he loosening? Yeah, he was loosening the wheel of the car. So he was pushing down. Do you know the way, like, if you're loosening nuts on a car, you're meant to pull up, aren't you? I think you're meant to pull up because it's better for your back or whatever. But he was pushing. Yeah. He was standing at an angle and pushing to loosen the nut. As he did that, the nut either came loose or else the was it a power bar, or was it just a normal, what's it called? The wheel yoke holder taker offer. What the fuck is it called? A wheel breast. Jesus Christ. So the wheel breast slipped as he was pushing, taking off the front wheel. So as that slipped, he'd so much energy put into the push that he launched himself forward and drove his forehead into the wing of the car. Now, that was hilarious, right? Very funny altogether, right? So we were all standing around, absolutely roaring laughing, right? In bits. Hilarious, right? But the funnier thing was, he was wearing a woolly Nike hat, right? Like a monkey hat, I'd call it. He was wearing a Nike hat, right? He took off the hat to rub his head because he was like, fucking hell, that was sore or whatever. But when he took off his hat, there was a metal or hard plastic Nike sign on the front of the hat. So when he bounced his forehead off the car, it left an imprint of a backwards Nike sign on his forehead, and it was there for a couple of days. And I think that that's brilliant. And I think that I have that hat now. But as I said, very unprepared for this episode, so I can't slide the picture in. But if I think of it for next week's episode, I might start sliding in all things from this week's one. Or will I? Or will that mess up? Will that mess up next week's episode? I don't want to do that either. So anyway, right, so I reached out and asked my followers to send me videos and voice notes and stuff. And I wanted to read messages out and play videos and play voice notes and whatever it is. So if you have anything that you'd like me to talk about, or a story that you'd like to tell, or just even something stupid that you saw, or anything, or thing what you overheard in public. What did I overhear in public? I heard something and I can't remember. But so a couple of people got back to me with different things that they wanted me to play and read, right? So what I had to do was I had to get their voice notes on Snapchat and screen record them without listening to them. So I actually messaged back one of the fellas a while ago and I said, man, I'm here recording your voice note. And I said, I can't listen to it so that I'll be able to listen to it for the first time in the podcast. and I can just hear you saying one sentence because he was obviously saying that sentence louder than anything else because he was trying to emphasize it or whatever. But yeah, I'm going to play, maybe, I'm going to play whatever voice notes I got. But you see, if I feel like they don't fit, I'm going to have to just cut them out. And then we never had this conversation, yeah? Do you understand? So bear with me now because this is a little bit new to me, to what I'm used to doing, right? So I'm after getting a question from one fella. I cannot remember his name. I have his name saved, and plus, so I saved his name, and then I had to go find his voice note. I had to screen record it, and I had to post it. If you see this and you hear your question, text me back, and actually, no, I'll be able to find it in my recent snaps, and I'll try and shout you out next week, all right? My apologies. So I'm going to go into this and see. I'm going to have to put on my headphones now. So I don't know what volume this is going to be at. So if it's too loud, my apologies. And I'm going to have to find a better way to do this in the future. So I have to turn up the volume a little bit now so I can actually play it. So I'm going to play the voice note. And yeah, hopefully it's not too loud. Hopefully it's appropriate. And hopefully I can leave it in. So here it is. Here it is. 2 seconds. Is some left? Oh. Some laugh of it played, wouldn't it? I'll say no.
I have a question for you, Walty. A weird one, just something to start a conversation on the podcast. When you go into a deli in the morning, what's your go-to deli order, Sham? What would you get now out of a deli?
Oh, I thought that was going to be a weird question. Yeah, pure normal question, fair play. I'm going to have to find his name, but so in the morning when I go into a deli, right, I try to not. I don't know. I feel like I'm a big glutton, right, and that I'm a fat prick and all, right. I'm not fat, like I have a dad bod, you know what I mean? And they're in trend, they're in fashion, like, you know what I mean? So, but I'm very critical of myself, and I think, oh, you big fat bastard, why are you fucking eating that again and eating shit and eating sweets and taters and chocolate? And I do. I'm a cunt for it. So when I go into a deli, I'm looking going, not going to get in a big load of shit now. I'm not going, and I'll be looking going, I'm not getting that because that's too big, and I'm not getting this. I'm a very, very fussy person with delis. Yeah. Like with breakfast rolls. I won't just go get a breakfast roll anywhere. I will get mostly, I love Supermax breakfast rolls, the deluxe one with the cheese and the mushrooms. Oh, bit of red sauce. Oh my God. Probably sounds gammy to some of you. Trust me, try it. Deluxe breakfast roll from Supermax. And then I've got another one or two. I'd look and I'd kind of suss out the deli, and it'd be very rare now that I get a breakfast roll, to be honest. So what I've started doing in the last couple of months, I'm a creature of habit. So once I start getting something from a deli, or when I start eating the food or whatever else it is, I'll keep on getting it over and over and over again. So when I go to a deli in the morning, what I'll do is I'll always get a cup of tea, and I'll go over to the deli and I will get, very boring, 4 sausages. Just blank sausages, that's it. Or 3. Sometimes I'll be like, I'm not getting 4 now. I'll just have the 3, thinking that that's any better. So, yeah, so long answer to a short question. My go-to order is very boring. It's 4 sausages or 3 sausages and a cup of tea, and that's it. And then later when I go, I might get a chicken roll. But if I get a chicken roll, I'll just get taco sauce, chicken, cheese. That's it. Or I might get butter, egg mayo, ham, cheese, and that's it, right? But and that actually reminds me, I brought sandwiches with me to work a couple of days ago, and I thought I was the fucking bee's knees. I thought, look at me with my sandwiches. I brought sandwiches, I brought a little bag of Skips, I brought 2 different small bars of chocolate so I could have my cup of tea, and I thought I was fucking great. I was like, yeah, look, this is it. You have your life figured out. Everything is sorted. Look at you with your little sandwiches. Aren't you the best boy? I was thinking to myself. Put a picture of him up in my story, and a fella replied to my story, and he was like, I don't know. He slagged my sandwiches anyway, which is fair enough, right? Because I didn't realise how I have my sandwiches is very weird. So sandwich wise, I don't know what it is. I was going to say there's nothing I love more, but as some of you might know, I don't have a favourite thing. I don't have a favourite film. I don't have a favourite song. Walking in Memphis is up there with one of my favourite songs. Four Brothers is up there with one of my favourite films. But I can't say this is my favourite dinner. This is my favourite this. Sometimes I might have a favourite tracksuit. Anyway, right? So what I really love is lovely, nice, fresh bread, a tiny bit of butter, and one slice of ham on 2 slices of bread. Like just a sandwich with 1 slice of ham in it. So your man was slagging about like that I was sparing the ham or something like that. But I don't know, is it just me or whatever, but I cannot bite into a roll and have too much. I think it's just with cold rolls. Like I can't bite into a roll and have to bite through loads of layers of ham. Ugh. No, can't do it. So yeah, I know I'm weird like that. But it's something that I realised is weird by your man slagging me. And that's fine. If you want to slag me in Snapchat, that's perfectly okay. I don't mind. So anyway, no. To make a short story long, 3 or 4 sausages is all I get in the deli in the mornings. Thanks for the message. Really, really appreciate it. Now we're going to go on to the next message. So I don't know if this fella is going to say that he wants to be kept anonymous, but I'm not going to say his name until afterwards. And then I might give you a bit of his name. Yeah, 1 second. So I'm going to try play the next one now. So you're going to have to bear with me for a second because there's a little bit of a delay and I have to click a button to allow me to do something. Don't have time to edit it out. Edit it out. Why can't I say edit it out? Anyway, here we go. Oh, here we go. 1 second. Sorry.
Well, how's things, Walshy? Absolutely loving the podcast now. It is a pleasure to listen to that beautiful Limerick accent. I was back in Limerick myself last weekend. I was down doing a bit of shopping and we parked in the multi-storey car park there by Dunn Stores. Myself and ourselves just ran into Deals to get a drink. I just went in the door and the place was at a standstill. So there was 2 people of different nationality in front of us, and in front of them then was an old woman with what I could only describe as like a Zimmer trolley for her shopping, and she was chatting or talking to the fella who was stacking the shelves, and he was on the phone with a pair of AirPods. So she didn't know that the old lady wasn't aware that he was talking to somebody else. She was shouting at him, "Have you got any cream?" Like the foreigners in front of, I can't say front, the people of different nationality in front of me didn't understand, but myself and herself were back a bit and I was starting to skit away laughing, and the 2 non-nationals were trying to nearly climb out over this woman and the man stacking the shelves and all his trolley of stuff, basket, whatever. "Have you got any cream?" And next thing he took out an AirPod, he said, "Sorry, what? Have you got cream for shaving?" And I nearly wet myself laughing. And then he reached up, luckily he was close enough, or maybe she was in the right area, and he said, "Oh, here's shaving cream. Is that for sensitive skin?" And at that stage I turned around and I left the shop. I was laughing so much.
Fuck's sake. Had any cream? That's what I could hear. That's what I could hear him saying in the voice note when I was trying to screen record it. I could just hear him keep saying, "Have you got any cream?" And I didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. I can imagine your one roaring and shouting at your man. Your man is just chilling on his AirPods. You probably shouldn't be doing that in work. If you said you parked in the multi-story at Dunn's, then you probably went to the Deals on Bedford Row. I saw that's closing down, actually. I always kind of thought that it was weird for there to be another Deals there because it's so close to the William Street one. So it was a bit of a random shop to put there. Surely, like would that be just the same company, like another branch, or like surely it's not like like I couldn't open up a Deals, could I? Like, is it just deals going, oh, we found another location, we're going to open here too? Or what is it? Because it's very random that it's so close. Like the two Starbucks in town were closer than that. One of them closed down. But you'd understand coffee shops, but it's a bit weird that there was two deals in town, but no one of them is closing down. It's unfortunate, obviously, like, because people are working there, it's their jobs. But yeah, I didn't understand why it was there, and obviously, yeah, they're struggling. Maybe it's because the other one is there and the other one is bigger, and people were maybe not going there because it was smaller. But yeah, it's obviously sad to see another shop closing down because the fucking town is like a ghost town in there. Right, so, oh yeah, that last message came in from Dan, okay? And this next one, I think this fella wants to be kept anonymous. So I'm going to click in. Oh, wait, I already have it open, do I? Yes, I do. So this is a message that he sent. So, okay. Oh, he says, Sham, you're looking for funny stories. Don't know now, will this suit the pod? But by God, you better keep me anonymous. Oh, okay. So I'm going to be careful when I'm reading this. So he says, the first time herself called over to me, home house, when I had a free house, we were shifting away on the couch. She decides to sit up on my lap, but facing me, if you get me. So she was basically kneeling on the couch facing me. You know what I mean anyway. You can word it differently if you want. Anyway, I didn't. I just read it out. But anyways, shit gets going and my one starts grinding away. Happy days. Big man here says, I'll start stepping it up a notch. So anyway, I'm not going to read all the words that he said. I'm sorry if anyone thought that something was after happening there, right? But I don't know. I haven't talked about stuff like this on the podcast, so I'm a bit awkward now. But he said he slapped her arse, right, while she was sitting on top of him. Now, there was nothing going on. They were only kissing. He slapped her arse, but as he did it, he ended up hitting himself into the bollocks. If that's not one way to kill the mood, for fuck's sake, 1 minute now. So what he actually said was, Jesus Christ, full force. She makes a move. Oh, sorry. So he went to slap her arse again, but she kind of moved a little bit. And the words he used was, he absolutely milled himself into the bollocks. Jesus Christ. So player 2 had left the game, nearly got fucking sick. That was nearly 9 years ago, and we're getting married in May. Hopefully my left nut will have descended at that stage, God willing. Say a prayer to St. Anthony for me, will you? Sound. So if anyone could light a candle for him, that would be much appreciated. And I'm glad now I didn't actually say his name, because his name is on the screen here in front of me, and he asked me to keep him anonymous, so I won't say his name. But yeah, that's the type of thing that we need anyway, being sent in. But yeah, just don't be making me awkward, Elite, for fuck's sake. I'm very shy. But oh yeah, so when I asked about that as well, I got a voice note off a girl that I know, and she was like, she started the voice note off by saying, here's a message for the podcast, because I know you're looking for messages for the podcast. So I was like, yeah. So I texted her back. Or no, I voice noted her back, and I said, look, I'm not going to listen to it. So I said, like with them ones there now, I said, I'm not going to listen to it until I'm actually on the podcast so I can play it. And she was like, no, don't play it. I don't want my voice on the podcast. I was like, all right, go on. So I had to listen to the story, and I'm just going to tell you what she said. So she said she went to pay for diesel one time, and she said her mind was in a different place, just 100 miles a minute, just thinking about everything and anything. And kids were probably murdering each other in the car as well. So she got diesel. She walked into Circle K and went up to the counter. And your mum was like, yeah, how can I help you? And she goes, can I get a McChicken sandwich, please? Your mum was like, what? And she was like, a McChicken sandwich. And he was just looking at her, and the two of them just burst out laughing. Like, how do things like that happen? Like, things like that have happened to me before as well. Or it's usually just like, oh man, I overtank. Overtank! I overtank. So that sounds like something that I'd say for the crack. Like, I overthink. Like, because what I do say is, like, I remember I was making a Peppa video one time, and I said it was about the teacher or something, and instead of saying like, yeah, fucking cheeky bitch, you should have minded her own business anyway. That's Peppa's voice. And but what I said, I thought it was funnier. Instead of saying she should have minded her own business, I said, yeah, well, she should have minded her own business. And I thought that was very funny, and I always say that now. My phone is full to the neck with notifications, Sham. Anyway, so how what was I saying before I started running laughing, and what word did I say wrong? How does stuff like that happen? Oh yes, I overthink. I'm gonna try say that now the whole time. That's the new top of the neck now. So yeah, I overthink anyway, and I was doing a delivery somewhere, and I thought too much about what I was going to say, because I, like, you know the way someone would say like, oh, enjoy your food, and you say, oh, you too, and then you have to share your food with the waitress or whatever. But it was like something like that. I was thinking, oh, she's probably going to say this to me now, so I better think about what I say. So in the middle of replying to her, I was still thinking about what I was saying, and the words were half out of my mouth, so I had to just stop. So I sometimes I'd say, yeah, okay, have a good. That's it then, and I just walk away. Like, they're probably going like, have a good what? And they're trying to think of it, and they're like, your man was telling me to have a good something, but I don't know. He never finished his sentence, so now I don't know what to have a good. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I was actually in Mullingar the other day, and I bumped into a fella, and your man was kind of looking at me. I was thinking, why is this fella fucking looking at me like that? I didn't do anything to him, like, and he was just kind of staring. And then he says, do you do a podcast on a Sunday? I was like, yeah. And like, I'm used to people saying like, you that fucking idiot that makes the Peppa Pig videos. And I'm like, yeah, that's me. Or someone would kind of look and they go, hey, you are you, are you, do you know, all that kind of stuff? And I'd be like, yeah, that's me, yeah, fucking idiot, blah. And I would kind of walk away. And with that kind of stuff, I'd always kind of be like, yeah, that's me. And I'm just trying to, I don't know, it's like I just kind of go, oh yeah, because a lot of people like used to stop me and they'd have their little child with them. Their child now could be 6 or something, or 5 or no, younger. And they'd go, look who it is. That's the Peppa Pig man now. And I'm like, the child doesn't know what you're talking about. They'd be like, do the voice for him. He loves Peppa Pig. Do the voice for him. And I'm going, the voice that I do is just my impression of a child. Like, if I'm telling a story all my life, and you know the way, if it was a man, you go, yeah, your man didn't turn around, he goes like this, and he goes, oi, come here, I'll tell you, fucking eat your face. And that's Daddy Pig, Father Pig. That's his voice. And my impression of Mother Pig is just the voice that I do for a woman. And obviously I'm from a council estate, so the father voice and the mother voice are council estate men and women where I come from, which is my parody of them. So my Peppa Pig voice does not sound like Peppa Pig. Do you know what I mean? So if I turn to the child and be like, yeah, how are you anyway? Are you making your confirmation or something? And they're like, well, I'm 4. What are you talking about? And I'm like, oh, it's me, Peppa Pig. Ha ha. And they're going, doesn't even sound like Peppa Pig, you fucking big hairy idiot. And I'm just standing there looking at these kids, you know what I mean? So don't be asking me to do impressions for the children, or don't ask me to do impressions at all, because I get pure awkward. But when someone says something to me about the podcast, I'm like, oh, are you watching it, yeah? Or listening to it? Oh, you're enjoying it? Oh, I'm glad now you're enjoying it, because I'm actually proud of the podcast. Now, I'm obviously proud of the success of some of my videos and the fact that my stuff has got out there, because I have a shitload of followers on Facebook, which is my highest thing, but nobody uses Facebook anymore, so I've barely any engagement on that, and I don't really have too much stuff on it either. But like, the amount of followers that I have doesn't reflect the notability of the bullshit that I've done over the years, if that makes any fucking sense. So I kind of, I'm proud of that, obviously, that I've got around that much like that. But the podcast, I'm really proud of. Like, I'm actually like, I'm proud of myself. I'm a podcaster. Know what I mean? Look at me on episode 1. Yeah, sorry. Know what I mean? Now I'm just a YouTuber, podcaster. I'm Jake Paul or something. Know what I mean? Am I Jake Paul? Am I? I think so. Put it in the comments. Put something in the comments, will you? Do me a favour, will you? Just put something in the comments. I'm not going to start threatening you now again, but I want you to put something in the comments because it's not fair, right? What? It's not fair. What am I talking about? I talk some fucking rubber. But yeah, I do want you to engage with the posts, please, because I want them to go far, and I want to stop having these thoughts of like, why don't you just be a normal person? Why don't you just put away that bullshit? No, don't worry, I'm not going to stop doing this bullshit. I'm going to keep doing the podcast. I'm going to give a good fucking shot at it. I'll stay doing it for the whole year anyway. Definitely. And maybe then I'll rethink it and think, how's it going? Is it good? Do people like it? Am I after building a good fan base? And then I'll decide maybe. But don't worry, there's nothing happening anytime soon, and probably won't happen. I'm going to keep doing this. And I'm going to start pre-recording episodes as well, so I'll be more prepared and the content might be better for you. Now, I don't feel like this is a bad episode either. I feel like it flowed good, and there was a couple of good things in it. So another thing that I wanted to mention, right, was what I started doing a couple of months ago. So I've kind of been rethinking a lot of stuff about how I act and how I am as a person and how helpful I am to everybody that I meet. I'm the first to offer a hand when anybody needs anything. Like someone could be, oh yeah, no, I need a dog lead in Mayo. I'm like, do you want me to drive up to get it? Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I was the first to offer, and a lot of times it's come to a case where something will be going on with me, and I'd need the help. But I hate asking for help. I don't like asking anybody for help. Like if my car broke down, fucking out of the other side of town, I'd just walk home. Like, no, I wouldn't. I'd get on to someone and ask them, whatever. But I mean, I don't know. I just don't like putting people out. And I can't think of a good example of that. But I'd rather struggle and try to do it myself than ask somebody else. And I'm not saying everybody else would come to me and say, oh, I need your help or whatever. No, sometimes they would. They'd come and say, oh, can you give me a hand with this? I don't mind at all. I love helping people. And as I said the last time, is that I'd rather help someone else than help myself, because that tub of paint is still sitting in the hall, right? And there's none of it has gone on the walls or the ceiling. Not a drop, not a fucking millimetre or milliliter of paint has come out of that bucket since I finished painting my daughter's room, right? So what I started to do was, if I feel like someone is acting a bollocks with me, I've started deleting people and blocking people. But now it's not in a way where I'm like, yeah, fuck them wankers and I'm fighting with them or anything like that. It's just if I feel like that they're not giving me anything and I'm giving them everything. I'm not on about physical things now. I'm on about effort and whatever else. Do you know what I mean? I'm on about like things that aren't physical. What are they? Do you know, things like that aren't things. Now, if I'm giving them things that aren't things and they're not giving me any things that aren't things, then but no, no, not even that. But if I feel like they're trying to make a fool out of me or something, or else that I feel like they're giving me negative energy or whatever after I'm giving them positive stuff and they're giving me negative stuff, basically that's it. Or not even negative stuff, but no stuff. Do you know, stuff that isn't stuff? No, things that aren't things. I can't think of their time, maybe. If I'm giving someone my time in a positive way and they're not giving me any time, and it's clear that they're not, like, I know people are busy and people might not reply, or people might have shit going on or whatever, and I totally understand that. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about the people who are saying like, oh yeah, no, Tuesday, yeah, at 6 o'clock, yeah, perfect, Tuesday at 6 o'clock. Then Tuesday rolls around and it's 5 o'clock and you're like, oh, we're still on for 6 o'clock, and then you just don't get a message back. And they open your message, leave one read, or else they'll leave your message for 6 hours and not unopened past the time that whatever it might be is. And then they'll text back the following day, oh, sorry about yesterday. And all, you're thinking, you're full of shit. Like, you're talking bollocks. So people like that, I've started giving them a bit of like one or two chances. But if I feel like that's repetitive and it keeps happening, and I know that it's not like that something actually came up, if I know they're just trying to take the piss, I've just started blocking them. Block, delete, fuck them, because they're not worth my time. Like there was one time there a couple of months ago where I was talking to somebody, and I'm the best for giving advice. Now, if you have a breakup or something, or if, I think things in your mind, how you're feeling or whatever, I'm not good at giving advice. I'm really not. Like, if someone comes to me, I'll be there for them. If someone needs me, I'll be there for them. But I just don't know the words to say on for them to fix things that aren't things, internal stuff. I'm absolutely butchering this explanation, but I'll try my best to help where I can. But I can usually only help with like favours or with like situations where I can actually see a way to figure out how to get through that situation, or how to make that situation easier or whatever. So I was talking to somebody that I know, and I was trying to help with one of these situations that didn't even involve me, but I was just trying to do what I could to help, right? So the way that she took my advice was in a negative way. And I was like, hold on, I'm not saying it in a negative way. I'm just saying that I think that this would be best. And I looked it up, and I think that it seems like this is the best thing to do. So whatever you want to do, but I definitely don't mean this in a negative way. So I couldn't get through to her, like, and she thought that I was being a prick. I was like, how can I was thinking to myself, how can she be thinking that I'm being a prick? I'm literally trying to help. I'm not. In one way, this was probably one of the first times actually that I started deleting people and blocking people. And I was there thinking, I was pure taken back, and I was thinking, hold on, I'm trying to help here. Why is she taking it like this? And it was just completely, like out of the ordinary, and not, she shouldn't have taken it the way she took it. And I was like, for fuck's sake. So I was there, and I was thinking about it really hard, like, and I was like, did I say something wrong? Should I have not said something? I was like, no, I was thinking to myself, didn't know I was answering myself. I was like, you didn't do anything. You're literally trying to help and give advice, and it's advice that you didn't even need to give your input on, but they were asking for advice, kind of, and you're after going out of your way to give that and to find out, and now you're being made look like a prick. I was like, what the fuck? And I wasn't in a great headspace at the time either. I wasn't feeling good. I wasn't feeling great myself. I was actually feeling kind of down at this time. But even if I am down, or even if I'm going through a shitty week or two or however long, I'll still try to help other people and try to make their day more positive or their life more positive. And that makes me feel better. And then my brain is kind of like, fix fucking our problems, will you? And I'm trying, but like, fixing or helping other people fix their problems helps us too, I'm telling my brain. My brain is like, yeah, but we're still in the same fucking situation, and you're helping fucking Tom, Margaret and Joy. And I'm like, yeah, but Tom, Margaret and Joy need my help. And then my brain is like, so do we. And I'm like, I know, but Tom, Margaret and Joy. Do you know what I mean? They're made up names. So what happened was, she thought I was being a prick, and I was thinking about it for ages. Well, maybe like 10 minutes, and I got pure up into my head about it. And I was thinking, I'm literally trying to be the nicest person here. I'm trying to fucking help, and I'm not going to gain from this. I don't want even thanks from her. I'm literally trying my best to help. And I was there, and do you know what happened to me? I started fucking crying. Tears just started coming out of my eyes. I was like, whoa, the fuck is going on here? I got pure up in my head about it. I was like, what the fuck is going on? And I pulled myself back from it straight away, and I thought, whoa. So obviously it just built up on top of everything else that was going in my head. But fucking tears started coming out my eyes. I was like, whoa, fuck off. Stop. No, I don't want to feel these feelings. And I was just like, no, fuck this, delete. And I deleted her. And, yeah, and ever since then, I was like, fuck, I'm not putting myself in the situation for me to feel those feelings again from people when I'm literally trying to be the best person that I can be and trying to be the nicest person that I can be and whatever else. I never go out to make anyone's day worse. I only try to help people and everything. I'm not saying I'm a fucking, what's that, Mother Teresa or anything like that, and going around helping everyone all the time and everything else. But I'll do whatever I can for whoever I can, whenever I can. Lads, that roll off my tongue. How can I say all of those words perfectly, but when I try to say, I went to the shop, I'll say, I bimped to the bop, and I'm stupid fucking mixing up my words. But yet, when I want to say all those sentences together, I'm able to just lash them out, and you think I have them rehearsed. I couldn't even think of the word rehearsed. Ooh. Anyway, I got carried away there. But, yeah. So, now I'm going to have to try upload the episode as quick as I can. I'm going to turn off my Wi-Fi on my phone and hope that, do you know what I might do? I might grab the internet box and put it right next to the laptop so it might upload quicker. And hopefully this is out. What time is it now? It is now just before 3 o'clock. So I'm going to try my best to get each episode up on Spotify and YouTube. Not each episode, the same episode. And yeah. So I'm going to have to love you and leave you. I have more topics that I could have talked about, but I need to keep this in around the hour so that I have time for the episode to upload for the likes of Mungo Jerry, who's sitting home with a cup of tea waiting for the episode to come out. Jerry, if your tea is cold, I apologise. Actually, this is the end of the episode, so your tea is probably gone. And actually, who else did I need to mention? Lee in Cork. What's happening, Lee? What's the story, bud? How are you? Be driving up here at all, getting excited. Anyway, talk to you in a while. And I'd love to... Oh, do you know the way I was calling you Unitics? Remember someone told me to call you Unitics, and that was what I could call my followers. Well, someone else commented and said I could call you Vunits because you're my viewers. Vunits. That is brilliant. So I'm probably going to put up a vote on Instagram maybe, and then 4 people will vote because people don't like to fucking engage. But I might put up a poll and people can vote between whether my viewers and listeners should be called Vunitics or Vunits. I'm leaning towards Vunits at the moment because I think it's very clever, but so is Unitics is clever as well. But I like them both. I'm kind of torn, so I'd rather if you decided. So yeah, gonna leave it there. I'm gonna try have to. Know what I mean? I'm gonna try have to figure out a way to sign off the episodes. And if you're in bed now, trying to go to sleep or anything like that, I'm sorry for shouting, all right? I'm sorry for shouting. I don't want to be fighting with you. I just want you to enjoy the episode. I'm sorry, okay? If you're trying to go to sleep, I'm sorry for shouting. See you later, and I hope this is kind of like an ASMR thing. But anyway, goodbye, good night, good day. Follow me on all social medias.
The unit, the unit, the unit, the unit, the unit, the unit, the unit.